Chosen one, August 9 is for champions. Please listen. This is not an ordinary day, and you are not an ordinary soul. August 9 is a spiritual marker, a divine announcement in the realm of faith that something has shifted. The air may feel the same, the sky may not open, and the world may carry on in ignorance, but for you, the chosen one, this day is sacred. It is not about fireworks or noise. It is about the quiet power of destiny stepping into alignment. Champions are not made on podiums. They are made in silence, in the furnace of unseen trials, in the midnight hours where no one saw you cry, pray, or break. August 9 comes not to make you a champion, but to reveal the one you already are. The illusions have fallen. The veil is lifting. What you have believed for is now responding to the vibration of your spirit. This is not about what's coming. It's about what's arrived. You are not here to wait anymore. You are here to step in. You didn't survive for nothing. You didn't endure that pain just to exist. Everything has been leading to this moment, and this moment is calling your spirit to rise, not as a victim, not as a warrior still wounded, but as a champion, healed, whole, and already victorious. Listen closely. The old you cannot walk through this door. Only the version of you that believes without seeing, trusts without proof, and stands without applause will be able to carry what's being released. August 9 isn't just another page on the calendar. It's heaven's invitation to manifest what you've always carried. This is your day. Walk in like you already won. You must understand this clearly. The calendar is not what defines divine moments. The soul does. August 9 is not just a number on a man-made chart of time. It is a living, breathing symbol in the spiritual realm, a coded moment etched into your destiny, designed by God himself before the foundations of the earth. The world sees it as just another day, a Friday perhaps, a point between Thursday and Saturday. But chosen one, those who are awake in spirit, those who have endured the breaking, the shaping, the wilderness, and the waiting, they sense something deeper. August 9 is not about what happens outside. It is about what shifts inside. For the one walking by faith, this date carries the vibration of breakthrough. It whispers in the stillness, now is the time. God has hidden sacred timings in what the world calls ordinary days. He has concealed transitions in quiet seasons, and August 9 is not a random placement. It is a divine appointment, a threshold, a spiritual activation meant to be recognized by those who are ready. Those who have eyes to see and ears to hear will know. This is the moment where long-held prayers begin to press through the veil of the unseen into tangible form. You didn't stumble upon this day. You didn't just arrive here by accident. Every delay, every heartbreak, every rejection, every moment of isolation, and every invisible battle you survived was preparing you for this exact spiritual timestamp. The reason it's felt heavy, confusing, or even silent in the past few days is because your soul has been aligning with this divine appointment. God has been fine-tuning your awareness, stripping away distractions, and pressing you into stillness, so you could sense the significance of now. August 9 is a mirror reflecting to you the power of timing in the spiritual world. Not just chronological timing, but kairos, God's appointed time. This is when all things align, not because you force them, but because you aligned with them internally. This is when heaven responds to faith, not fear. This is the day you stop rehearsing the pain and begin stepping into the promise. A divine appointment is different from a man-made plan. You can plan your goals, schedule your days, and write your visions, but when God sets an appointment, it overrides human timelines. On this day, if you are awake, if you are aware, if your heart is tuned in, something will begin to shift. Not always dramatically. Sometimes the most powerful changes begin in silence, in the unseen, in the whisper of peace that settles in your chest. Sometimes the breakthrough doesn't show up with lightning and thunder, but with clarity, confirmation, and inner release. But one thing is sure, this is not a normal day. You are walking into a divine moment where your faith and God's timing collide. And when that happens, manifestation is inevitable. You are not here to try harder. You are here to recognize that it is finished. The answer is already done in the unseen. August 9 is the day you drop the worry, shed the fear, and pick up what was already yours in the spirit. Look at how far you've come. Look at what you've survived. Look at what didn't break you. There were days you thought it was over, seasons you thought you lost too much to recover, but even in those moments, something in you refused to quit. That wasn't weakness. That was divine preparation. That was heaven getting you ready for this divine appointment. You see, God doesn't reveal everything at once. He allows you to be shaped by delay so that you become mature enough to carry what is released. You cried, you surrendered, you let go, and now you stand on the edge of something sacred. Not because you earned it, but because your surrender aligned you with it. August 9 is evidence that your pain was not wasted, that your faith was not in vain. The blessing was never denied, only delayed to fit divine timing. What you must do now is believe intentionally. Don't let this moment pass you by just because you can't yet see results with your eyes. Divine appointments are discerned, not seen. They require inner agreement. On this day, refuse to let doubt talk you out of what your spirit already knows. Affirm it, declare it, feel it as real. See yourself already walking in what you've prayed for. This is how you meet the appointment, by faith, by trust, by knowing deep in your being that the timing of God is perfect, even if it didn't look like your plan. You are not late, you are right on time, and this is the day where everything begins to make sense, where the dots begin to connect, where the doors that were once sealed begin to unlock, not because you chased them, but because you aligned with them. Don't let the enemy confuse you. He always attacks the mind hardest before a divine moment, because he knows what you are about to step into. He'll try to stir confusion, bring distractions, or send voices to make you question your journey. Ignore them. This is a holy day, a consecrated moment. Block the noise, be still, return to your center. God doesn't scream, he whispers. You must quiet your soul to hear this appointment. And once you do, once you sense that deep knowing within, once you recognize that this is more than a date, it's your turning point, you'll know what to do. You'll stop begging, you'll stop worrying, you'll start walking in peace, in power, and in bold expectation. This is not about signs and wonders, it's about spiritual awareness. If you've been waiting for confirmation, this is it. If you've been asking for clarity, this is it. If you've been unsure whether it's time to step forward, this is your green light. The atmosphere is shifting. The spiritual realm is already activated, and heaven is watching to see who will respond. Will you respond with doubt, or will you respond with faith? Will you walk timidly, or will you move like one who knows they've been appointed for such a time as this? Chosen one, this is not just another Friday. This is your divine appointment. You didn't come this far to question the timing now. You didn't walk through the fire just to return to dust. You've been tried, tested, refined, and now rewarded. The appointment isn't only about receiving, it's about becoming. And today, August 9, you become the version of you that no longer begs for blessings but embodies them. This is your crossover day. A spiritual line is being drawn, and once you step over it, nothing can stay the same. Walk through it boldly. Say yes with your heart. Agree with heaven, and remember, what is meant for you cannot be missed. This appointment has waited for you. Now walk into it like the champion you already are. You must understand this clearly. The calendar is not what defines divine moments. The soul does. August 9 is not just a number on a man-made chart of time. It is a living, breathing symbol in the spiritual realm, a coded moment etched into your destiny, designed by God himself before the foundations of the earth. The world sees it as just another day, a Friday, perhaps a point between Thursday and Saturday, but chosen one, those who are awake in spirit, those who have endured the breaking, the shaping, the wilderness, and the waiting. They sense something deeper. August 9 is not about what happens outside. It is about what shifts inside. For the one walking by faith, this date carries the vibration of breakthrough. It whispers in the stillness, now is the time. God has hidden sacred timings in what the world calls ordinary days. He has concealed transitions in quiet seasons, and August 9 is not a random placement. It is a divine appointment. A threshold, a spiritual activation meant to be recognized by those who are ready. Those who have eyes to see and ears to hear will know this is the moment where long-held prayers begin to press through the veil of the unseen into tangible form. You didn't stumble upon this day. You didn't just arrive here by accident. Every delay, every heartbreak, every rejection, every moment of isolation, and every invisible battle you survived was preparing you for this exact spiritual timestamp. The reason it's felt heavy, confusing, or even silent in the past few days is because your soul has been Aligning with this divine appointment, God has been fine-tuning your awareness, stripping away distractions, and pressing you into stillness so you could sense the significance of now. August 9 is a mirror reflecting to you the power of timing in the spiritual world, not just chronological timing. But Kairos, God's appointed time, this is when all things align, not because you forced them, but because you aligned with them internally. This is when heaven responds to faith, not fear. This is the day you stop rehearsing the pain and begin stepping into the promise. A divine appointment is different from a man-made plan. You can plan your goals, schedule your days, and write your visions, but when God sets an appointment, it overrides human timelines. On this day, if you are awake, if you are aware, if your heart is tuned in, something will begin to shift, not always dramatically. Sometimes the most powerful changes begin in silence, in the unseen, in the whisper of peace that settles in your chest. Sometimes the breakthrough doesn't show up with lightning and thunder, but with clarity, confirmation, and inner release. But one thing is sure, this is not a normal day. You are walking into a divine moment where your faith and God's timing collide. And when that happens, manifestation is inevitable. You are not here to try harder. You are here to recognize that it is finished. The answer is already done in the unseen. August 9 is the day you drop the worry, shed the fear, and pick up what was already yours in the spirit. Look at how far you've come. Look at what you've survived. Look at what didn't break you. There were days you thought it was over, seasons you thought you lost too much to recover, but even in those moments, something in you refused to quit. That wasn't weakness, that was divine preparation. That was heaven getting you ready for this divine appointment. You see, God doesn't reveal everything at once. He allows you to be shaped by delay, so that you become mature enough to carry what is released. You cried, you surrendered, you let go, and now you stand on the edge of something sacred, not because you earned it, but because your surrender aligned you with it. August 9 is the evidence that your pain was not wasted, that your faith was not in vain. The blessing was never denied, only delayed to fit divine timing. What you must do now is believe intentionally. Don't let this moment pass you by just because you can't yet see results with your eyes. Divine appointments are discerned, not seen. They require inner agreement. On this day, refuse to let doubt talk you out of what your spirit already knows. Affirm it, declare it, feel it as real. See yourself already walking in what you've prayed for. This is how you meet the appointment. By faith, by trust, by knowing deep in your being that the timing of God is perfect, even if it didn't look like your plan. You are not late, you are right on time, and this is the day where everything begins to make sense, where the dots begin to connect, where the doors that were once sealed begin to unlock, not because you chased them, but because you aligned with them. Don't let the enemy confuse you. He always attacks the mind hardest before a divine moment, because he knows what you are about to step into. He'll try to stir confusion, bring distractions, or send voices to make you question your journey. Ignore them. This is a holy day, a consecrated moment. Block the noise. Be still. Return to your center. God doesn't scream. He whispers. You must quiet your soul to hear this appointment, and once you do, once you sense that deep knowing within, once you recognize that this is more than a date, it's your turning point. You'll know what to do. You'll stop begging. You'll stop worrying. You'll start walking in peace, in power, and in bold expectation. This is not about signs and wonders. It's about spiritual awareness. If you've been waiting for confirmation, this is it. If you've been asking for clarity, this is it. If you've been unsure whether it's time to step forward, this is your green light. The atmosphere is shifting. The spiritual realm is already activated, and heaven is watching to see who will respond. Will you respond with doubt, or will you respond with faith? Will you walk timidly, or will you move like one who knows they've been appointed for such a time as this? Chosen one, this is not just another Friday. This is your divine appointment. You didn't come this far to question the timing now. You didn't walk through the fire just to return to dust. You've been tried, tested, refined, and now rewarded. The appointment isn't only about receiving, it's about becoming. And today, August 9, you become the version of you that no longer begs for blessings but embodies them. This is your crossover day. A spiritual line is being drawn, and once you step over it, nothing can stay the same. Walk through it boldly, say yes with your heart, agree with heaven, and remember, what is meant for you cannot be missed. This appointment has waited for you. Now walk into it like the champion you already are. You were never born to blend in, you were born to awaken, to remember, to reclaim. The world may think champions are born with silver spoons, grand stages, applause, or legacy bloodlines, but heaven sees differently. A true champion is not created in comfort or applause, but in silence, surrender, and struggle. You don't become a champion when the crowd shows up. You become one in the absence of the crowd, when no one is watching, when it's just you and the echo of your belief. The chosen one is not someone who was handed a crown. They are someone who chose to believe in the crown within. It's not about being the strongest, the smartest, or the most visible. It's about being the one who decided to rise after the fall, to trust after betrayal, to move after fear tried to paralyze. Champions are not anointed from the outside, they are crowned from within. You were shaped in places no one saw, prepared through experiences no one understood, and called in ways no one else heard. This is why you can't explain your fire, your resilience, your knowing. It's not arrogance, it's alignment. It's not ego, it's clarity. Because you know deep down you didn't choose this path, it chose you, but it only became real when you chose it back. And that's what sets champions apart. Not talent, not privilege, but decision, inner decision, that fierce private yes, that no one else hears, that decision to keep walking when everything tells you to quit, that decision to get up again and again, even when there's no applause, no support, no promise of reward. The champion doesn't wait to feel ready. They decide to be ready. They don't wait for proof. They become the proof. The moment you said yes to the unseen, yes to the inner conviction, yes to the calling you couldn't fully explain, that's when heaven recorded you as a champion. And don't think it was loud or dramatic. Sometimes it was that quiet whisper of "I'll keep going." Sometimes it was just not giving up. Sometimes it was tears falling and still choosing to rise. That was the moment you were chosen, not by man, but by eternity. And what was written in spirit cannot be revoked by man. They may not acknowledge you, but heaven already has. You see, people think champions are made in the spotlight, but God hides his best warriors in the shadows. He allows them to be overlooked so they can develop unshakable faith. He allows them to be rejected so they stop relying on external validation. He allows them to walk alone so they can learn to stand without support, because true strength isn't built in convenience, it's built in consecration. That's what makes you different. That's what made you chosen. You didn't just go through the fire. You allowed the fire to purify you. You didn't just survive the pit. You learned to hear God in it. That's why you can't be broken now. That's why they can't figure you out. You're not operating from willpower. You're operating from divine power. The moment you decided to become the version of you God designed, everything changed. Even if nothing around you changed yet, everything in you did. And now, on this sacred path, comes the weight of being a champion. Not the weight the world gives, but the weight of glory, the responsibility of holding faith when it would be easier to fall into fear, the discipline of believing when logic screams otherwise, the pressure of being light in a room full of darkness. But this is what you were built for. You weren't made to crack under pressure. We're made to rise through it. The oil only flows from crushed olives. The gold only shines after refining. And your strength only surfaced because your spirit chose to become who you were always meant to be. Every time you forgave when it hurt. Every time you kept silent instead of retaliating. Every time you showed grace when they expected rage. That was divine training. That was championship refinement. That was you deciding not to lower your vibration to match the world, but to lift it to match your calling. And don't you dare forget this. No one has to understand your decision. It wasn't for them. The inner yes you gave was between you and God. That's why others can't comprehend your peace, your boldness, your sense of direction when things still look uncertain. They think you're delusional, but you're just aligned. You're not waiting on man to crown you. You already know. God has. Champions don't beg, they walk. Champions don't chase, they attract. Champions don't shrink, they expand. And now you're in the expansion phase. That's why it feels tight, intense, unfamiliar, because you're outgrowing what no longer fits. Your spirit is making room for the level you already agreed to. The decision has already been made. Your job now is to walk it out. No second guessing, no doubting, no shrinking. You are not who you used to be. You are becoming who you always were. And let's be clear, this doesn't mean you won't feel fear. It means fear won't run you. It doesn't mean you won't feel tired. It means you won't quit. The champion within you is not perfect, but they are persistent. They know that the fight isn't external, it's internal. The battlefield is in the mind, it's in the emotions. It's in the decision to believe even when everything in the natural looks the same. That's why you've been pulled so deeply into solitude, into spiritual awareness, into divine encounters, because you were never meant to fight as others fight. You were meant to create through belief. You were meant to shift atmospheres through presence. You were meant to manifest from inside out. That's what sets champions apart. It's not what they have, it's what they carry. And you, chosen one, carry power beyond what you even fully comprehend yet. So on this journey, when the road gets narrow, when the crowd thins out, when you feel unseen and unheard, remember this: the path of a champion is not popular, but it is powerful. God hides those he plans to elevate. You've been hidden not because you're unworthy, but because you're set apart. You've been prepared in silence because the noise would have distracted you. And now, that inner decision you made is about to echo into the external world. What you decided in secret is about to become evident in public. The internal alignment is about to show up as external breakthrough. The world will soon witness what heaven already saw. But don't you wait for the world to agree before you move. Move now, move boldly, move as one who knows who they are, because champions don't wait for validation. They walk in revelation. You have already been appointed. You have already been chosen. You have already said yes, and now you must live as the embodiment of that yes. Every step forward, every act of obedience, every moment of faith is a declaration, I am the one, and not because you feel like it every day, but because you've decided to be the one who breaks the cycle, the one who heals the lineage, the one who rebuilds the ruins, the one who becomes the answered prayer. So walk boldly now. Crown is invisible to man but undeniable in the spirit. The oil is already flowing, the atmosphere is already responding, the angels are already assigned, and heaven is watching to see what you do with your decision. You are not waiting to become, you already are. Champions aren't born, they are chosen by the ones who decided to say yes when everyone else said no. And chosen one, you said yes, so rise up, speak boldly, move with clarity. You're not hoping to win, you've already won. Now walk like it. Chosen one, listen closely. The next move of God will not announce itself to your five senses. It will not be wrapped in lightning, thunder, or booming confirmation from the sky. No, it will come like a quiet whisper, like a sudden knowing in your chest, like a wave of peace that doesn't make sense to your natural mind. What is coming won't be visible to the eyes of the flesh. It will be perceived by the Spirit, and this is where most people miss it. They wait to see something before they believe something. They wait for the manifestation to appear before trusting what was spoken. But that's not how champions walk. That's not how chosen ones operate. You must understand that spiritual things are spiritually discerned. The next level will not shout. It will stir, and only those who are still enough within will recognize what is being released. So if you feel a strange restlessness in your soul, if your dreams have become more vivid, if your atmosphere feels like it's pregnant with something unseen, it is not your imagination. It is the inner realm preparing you for external change. God is moving, but he's moving in a way that requires stillness, not striving. You've entered a season where feeling something won't always match what's forming in the spirit. That's why you can't trust your senses in this hour. Your senses were trained by the world. They require proof, evidence, and familiarity. But your spirit was born from heaven. It thrives on faith, inner sight, and alignment. So when nothing looks different, but something feels different, believe feeling, that stirring, that holy discontent, that sudden courage to let go of what once comforted you. That's not anxiety. That's not confusion. That's divine prompting. The Spirit is leading you beyond logic, beyond what your natural eyes can see, and you must be willing to obey that invisible nudge even when nothing outside of you validates it. That's how champions are separated from the crowd, not because they waited for signs, but because they recognized the inner shift before anything changed around them. You see, the enemy wants you focused on what you can see, because what you can't see can lie to you. Circumstances can appear stagnant, doors can look shut. People can look indifferent, but none of that reflects the truth of your spirit. The truth is what's happening in the unseen, and right now there is a stirring. You're being prepared, not punished. You're being launched. Not left behind, but the release is spiritual first. It's like when a seed breaks beneath the soil, it looks like nothing is happening, but everything is. Roots are forming. Foundations are strengthening, identity is solidifying, and before long it pushes through the surface, shocking everyone who thought nothing was taking place. That's you, that's your process. You are breaking through the invisible right now, but only those with spiritual eyes will see it. That's why you feel it in your sleep. That's why you sense the tension in your soul. Something is being birthed, but here's the part you must embrace. When God is stirring you internally, He often removes your external crutches. He takes away the noise. He silences the distractions. He isolates you, not to punish you, but to prepare you, because this stirring cannot be processed with your intellect. It cannot be explained to everyone around you, and it cannot be shared with those who are still living by sight. God is calling you deeper, chosen one, not outward, but inward. He wants your spirit tuned to His voice, not the voice of the crowd. He wants your decisions based on what He said, not what the world shows. This is not a season for public validation. This is a season for private revelation. You will not get confirmation from people. You will get it from peace, and that peace may not make sense to your mind. It may tell you to walk away from what looks stable. It may nudge you to step into what looks risky. But your job is not to debate the Spirit, it's to trust it. You are not losing your mind. You are shedding old programming. You are not confused. You are evolving. You are not stuck. You are still. There's a difference. Stillness is not stagnation. It is sacred preparation. God quiets everything around you so you can hear Him clearly. He lets your plans fall apart so His plan can unfold. He removes what you idolized so you can return to what you carry within, and what you carry is enough. You don't need a sign. You are the sign. Your very presence is the confirmation. You have been set apart for such a time as this, not to perform, but to perceive, not to chase, but to channel, and that can only happen when you surrender the senses and let your spirit lead. So pay attention, not to what people are saying, but to what your spirit is sensing. Pay attention to your energy around certain rooms, certain conversations, certain decisions. If your peace disappears, so should you. If your spirit resists, don't force it. The stirring is divine. It's leading you somewhere specific. You are not called to remain where you've been. You are being summoned higher, and higher does not always look impressive on the outside. Sometimes higher looks quieter. Sometimes higher looks lonely. Sometimes higher looks like walking away from everything familiar, but you didn't come this far to stay comfortable. You came to fulfill a calling, and the calling requires sensitivity to the invisible. And yes, people will misunderstand you. They'll think you're withdrawing. They'll say you've changed. They'll wonder why you're no longer accessible like you used to be. Let them. They are not responsible for your spiritual transition. You are. You owe no one an explanation for obeying your spirit. When God begins to stir your soul, your priorities shift. Your pace slows. Your purpose sharpens. You stop engaging with things that drain you. You stop participating in circles that can't carry the weight of your destiny. This isn't arrogance. It's awareness. It's elevation. It's the cost of calling, and not everyone will understand that, but those who are chosen will feel it too. You must now walk by inner instruction. What's coming next for you will require you to move without applause, without proof, without visibility. The stirring will not come with a map, only a whisper. And that's all you need. When God is your GPS, peace becomes your signal. Every time you followed that inner pull, you ended up exactly where you needed to be, even if the route looked strange. That same pull is guiding you now. Don't ignore it. Don't delay. Don't wait for a louder sign. This is it. The stirring is the signal. The discomfort is the doorway. The tension is your transformation, and the unfamiliar is your confirmation. This is the moment where you stop living by logic and start living by leading, where you stop explaining yourself and start obeying yourself. Your soul has waited a long time for this moment. Don't insult it by requiring worldly validation. You are no longer a beginner. You are no longer in survival mode. You are now in spiritual leadership, and spiritual leaders are led from within. The senses may not catch up at first. The people around you may not understand, but you don't need them to. You only need to trust the stirring, that still small voice, that undeniable knowing, that gentle push, that whisper that says, go now, that nudge that says, let it go, that pull that says, this is your time. Chosen one, the stirring is sacred. It is God's hand moving beneath the surface of your life. It is not emotional. It is not coincidental. It is divine intelligence awakening your next level. Don't wait for it to make sense. Just follow it. You were never meant to walk by what you see. You were meant to walk by what you know deep Unshakable spiritual knowing, and now that knowing is calling you forward. Trust it, respond to it, obey it. Everything you've been waiting for is waiting on the other side of this spiritual stirring. This is your sign. The invisible has begun. Now move as if it's already done. There comes a moment in the life of every chosen one when heaven draws an invisible line and whispers, "You can go forward, but what you're carrying cannot." That moment is now. August 9 is not just a spiritual appointment. It is a portal, a divine threshold, a sacred crossing that separates what has been from what must now be. And if you're feeling like everything is changing, like certain people are becoming distant, like old patterns are crumbling, like familiar environments are starting to feel uncomfortable or even hostile, do not resist it. Do not mourn the loss of what God is calling you out of. You are being pulled through a spiritual gate, and the past has no passport to follow. You've outgrown the cage. You've surpassed the assignment. The version of you that survived yesterday does not have permission to rule tomorrow. This is not punishment. This is promotion. But with every promotion there is a cost, and the cost is usually the very thing you've grown attached to but no longer need. You must now decide if you trust God enough to walk forward empty, handed so he can fill your hands with what was meant for this level. Understand this, you are not who you used to be. You don't think the same, feel the same, or move the same. That's why the people and places that once energized you now drain you. That's why the habits that once soothed you now frustrate you. That's why the cycles you tolerated in the past now feel unbearable. God is not trying to make you uncomfortable. He's trying to make you move. The tug in your spirit, the unease in your belly, the sudden desire for silence, solitude, and separation. These are not mood swings. These are divine alerts. They're warnings from the future, signals from the soul. They're saying, the old cannot come with you. This includes your trauma, your guilt, your resentment, your excuses, your identity as a survivor, your addiction to struggle, your desire to be understood, your need to be validated by those who once rejected you. All of it must go. It served its purpose. It taught you what it needed to. Built your strength, revealed your power, sharpened your vision, but it is not meant to stay. There is no room in your next level for the weight of your old wounds. You see, portals are not unlocked with effort. They are accessed by alignment. God does not open doors just because you cry or strive. He opens them when you're ready to walk through in obedience, and readiness is not about being perfect. It's about being willing to release. Release the people who loved the old version of you but resist the evolved one. Release the environments that nurtured your survival but suffocate your growth. Release the beliefs that kept you safe but now keep you stuck. If it doesn't fit anymore, it's because you're not supposed to shrink back to make it fit. You are being stretched into a higher dimension. You are being expanded into a new identity, but expansion requires subtraction. You must be emptied of the false before you're filled with the real, and that is the purpose of this divine portal. It is an invitation to shed everything that cannot walk with you into your promise. Yes, it will hurt. Yes, it will feel like death. Yes, it will feel like you're leaving pieces of yourself behind. That's because you are, but what you're leaving behind was never your true self. It was the shell you had to wear to survive in a world that didn't recognize your divinity. You wore masks to stay safe. You played roles to stay accepted. You carried burdens to feel needed. But now all of it must burn away, not because God is punishing you, but because he's revealing you, the real you, the one you forgot, the one you hid, the one you suppressed to keep peace in rooms that were never worthy of your presence. This portal does not require you to prove anything. It requires you to let go. Let go of your identity as the wounded one. Let go of your addiction to being the rescuer. Let go of your belief that you have to earn your worth. You don't. You never did. You were chosen before you were broken. You were called before you were wounded. You were seen before you were dismissed. And now it's time to walk like it. The path ahead of you is not paved with certainty, but with obedience. There will be no flashing signs, no full map, no step-by-step instructions, but there will be a stirring. There will be a pull. There will be a knowing deep within your spirit that says it's time. That knowing is your confirmation. That peace is your compass. That clarity is your permission. You don't need to wait for external evidence. The shift has already happened within. The portal has already opened. The only question is, will you step through? Will you allow yourself to walk into unfamiliar with nothing but faith? Will you trust that if God is calling you away from something, He's also calling you towards something greater? Will you finally stop trying to resuscitate what God has already declared finished? There is no more room for fear-based decisions, no more time for half-hearted commitments, no more grace for double-mindedness. You must now walk in full agreement with your calling, even if it costs you your comfort, your connections, or your old identity. The past cannot follow you beyond this portal because the past was never designed to carry the weight of your future. It will fight to stay. It will whisper old lies. It will stir up old wounds. It will tempt you to turn around. But if you do, you will delay the promise. You will forfeit the inheritance. You will keep circling the same wilderness you were meant to exit. Don't let familiarity rob you of fulfillment. Don't let comfort kill your calling. Don't let fear keep you from freedom. This is your moment. This is your line in the sand. This is your exodus. And no, not everyone will understand. Some will say you're acting different. Others will accuse you of being distant, cold, or arrogant. Let them talk. You owe no one an explanation for your evolution. Your loyalty to others should never be greater than your loyalty to your purpose. If they cannot go with you, bless them and release them. If they cannot see you, stop trying to convince them. This portal requires isolation. It demands consecration. It calls for laser-sharp focus. You must guard your energy. You must protect your peace. You must preserve your power. Not everyone can walk where you're going. Not everyone was assigned to your destiny, and that's okay. You are not alone. You are aligned. You are not abandoned. You are being advanced. Chosen one, hear this clearly. This is a holy exit. You're not running. You're being released. You're not escaping. You're being elevated. You're not losing. You're being launched. This portal is not the end. It's the beginning of everything your spirit has longed for, but didn't know how to reach. And now God has opened the way, but you must walk it. You must decide that your destiny is more important than your history, that your healing matters more than your image, that your alignment matters more than your attachments. This is the crossing. This is the shift. This is the sacred invitation to leave behind what has expired and step into what is eternal. So breathe deep, stand tall, and walk forward, not with fear but with fire. The past has no claim on you now. Its power has expired. Its grip has been broken. Its role in your life is complete. Close the chapter, burn the bridge, lock the door, and don't look back. What lies ahead of you is greater, deeper, higher than anything you've known, but it will only be revealed to those bold enough to let go. So let go now. Let go for good. Let go with grace, and walk through this portal like the chosen one. You are free, focused, and fully surrendered. Chosen one, everything you've been holding in the secret place of your spirit is now pressing to be born in the visible realm. This is not just another moment to survive. This is the day where what has been long prepared in silence begins to take shape and form. This is not the time for you to waver or shrink back in hesitation. This is the divine unfolding, the moment the unseen becomes seen, not because God is finally ready to move, but because you are. The truth is, the manifestation was already complete in the invisible the moment you believed. The miracle was already assigned, the breakthrough already written, the door already opened in the spirit realm. But today, on this sacred day marked by divine timing, the veil begins to tear between what you believed for and what your eyes will now witness. You have been trusting, waiting, praying, affirming, and standing in the unseen realm for so long, and it felt like nothing was changing. But chosen one, understand this, the invisible realm was never quiet. It was building. What you couldn't see was being formed behind the curtain, and now the curtain is about to rise. You see, nothing ever begins when you see it. It begins when you feel it. You've already touched it in the spirit. That peace you felt in prayer, that knowing you couldn't explain, that unwavering hope that refused to die even when circumstances contradicted everything, that was evidence. That was proof that something was already alive in another dimension. You weren't crazy. You weren't imagining things. You were aligned with a spiritual truth the natural world just wasn't ready to reveal until now. This is why the inner war has been so intense. This is why the enemy has attacked your mind, your emotions, your identity, and your clarity. He couldn't stop the blessing, so he tried to stop you from believing, but you held on. You stood in the silence. You refused to surrender what you saw within, and now the time has come. The invisible is responding to your inner agreement. The spirit realm is ready to mirror itself in your reality. This is the day the seed you've nurtured begins to bloom in the open. This moment is not just about reward, it's about revelation. It's about the unveiling of what you carried all along. The world is about to see what you've been cultivating in your quiet hours, your consistency, your obedience, your faithfulness, your prayers. All of it has been creating spiritual architecture. You were building a house in heaven every time you stood in faith instead of fear, and now that house is being moved to earth. You were painting a portrait in spirit with every word you spoke in belief. Now that painting will be hung on the wall of your life, where others can see the beauty of what belief births. The manifestation is not the beginning, it's the reflection of what's already been real. You did not force this to happen. You became it. You didn't chase this shift. You aligned with it, and that's why it's arriving not by struggle, but by spiritual law. It's arriving because you match the vibration of what you asked for. You are no longer hoping for it. You are embodying it. This is the mystery of the Spirit. The world rewards what it sees, but heaven rewards what is believed. You weren't ignored. You were being refined. You weren't forgotten. You were being hidden until the time was right. God will never release what is divine into a space that is still bound by the old. And that's why the shaking had to happen. That's why people had to leave. That's why what once worked had to stop. God wasn't punishing you. He was preparing you. He was stripping off everything that was not in harmony with what was already yours in spirit. And now that your inner world matches your outer calling, the shift becomes visible. What you feel is not anxiety, it's acceleration. What you sense is not confusion, it's divine movement. Heaven is making room for your arrival, and the physical realm is catching up to what's already settled in eternity. Chosen one, you are not stepping into something new. You are remembering who you are. You are stepping into a visible reflection of a spiritual truth that has always been real. What is appearing now is only the echo of what's already been decreed. You are not waiting on a blessing. You are releasing it. You are not chasing a promise. You are walking it out. Your manifestation is not coming from outside, it's unfolding from within. The belief you nurtured, the assumptions you walked in, the inner visions you refused to let die. These were not delusions. They were seeds, and now they are sprouting. Not because God suddenly decided to move, but because your inner man finally said, I am ready. And when heaven hears that vibration of faith, it must respond. It cannot ignore a soul in full alignment with its truth. Let the world say what it will. Let them be surprised. Let them question how it happened. You owe no one an explanation for the blessing that took years of silence building. You owe no one access to what they did not honor when it was invisible. You were carrying something sacred, and now the sacred has become seen. They'll see the glow. They'll notice the shift. They'll feel the elevation, but they won't know the cost. They won't know the nights you cried but still believed. They won't know the days you were empty but still gave thanks. But heaven knows, and heaven rewards in public what was cultivated in secret. You don't have to defend what's happening. The fruit will speak for itself. The favor will announce you. The glow will reveal you. Transformation will confirm you. What is coming next for you is undeniable because it's not just for you. It's for the world to see what happens when a soul refuses to let go of what it knows in the spirit. This is not a small moment. This is a divine unveiling. This is a crowning disguised as a quiet awakening. The invisible has now reached the tipping point. It cannot stay hidden. It cannot remain buried. What is within must now become what surrounds you. The blessing is not coming to you. It's coming from you. You've become a channel, a vessel, a divine reflection of what is possible. When faith meets obedience, and now the flow begins, doors will open without force. People will show up without striving. Resources will find you without chasing. Why? Because you are aligned. Because the frequency you walk in now pulls what once had to be prayed for. You've stopped begging. You've started embodying. That's the shift. That's the release. That's why the invisible had no choice but to show itself. And as it does, remain humble, remain centered, remain grounded in the truth that got you here. Do not let the visible seduce you into believing this is where your power lies. No, the visible is just the fruit. The root is in your spirit. Keep watering it. Keep nurturing it. Keep walking in quiet authority, because this is just the beginning. What is now showing up is only the first wave of many. You have unlocked something in the unseen that will continue to overflow. So long as you stay in alignment, do not return to old habits. Do not settle for surface attention. Do not trade spiritual depth for temporary visibility. What is manifesting now is holy. Treat it as such, protect it, Guard it, let it grow. This is the day the invisible becomes visible. Not by accident, not by force, but by divine alignment. You stood, you believed, you prepared, and now you receive, not as a beggar, but as a champion, not as a victim, but as a vessel, not as one who wished, but as one who walked. Welcome to the visible realm of everything you once held in silence. It's not a miracle, it's your harvest.